guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to try the Micro-OLED 8K from Pimax. This is the new optical engine. Okay, this is my first impression. Okay, let's say that the colors are wonderful. The mura is not there anymore, and as I think that we can, yes, we have less effects here, like dirty screen effect over the horizon, and the far mountains look sharp as well. This is amazing, guys. This is what I wanted. The resolution looks really uh, pretty similar to the Qled 50 ppd version of the optical engine, but I think it's better. I can't see screen door effect, maybe tiny little sharp edges show up with some aliasing, and well, let's make our first flight here, but I can tell you that this is a completely new experience. Okay, let me see. There you go. I'm using eye tracking, so you might see that where I look, the direction of my eyes are going to show up as a full render image, and the rest of the screen is going to be a bit pixelated. Yeah, this is cool. This is so cool. It's different because if I look at the wings, the winglets there, I can read everything, even the the fuel there. Yeah, of course you need to find the sweet spot, and like every pancake lenses, I think you need to put them just as close as of your eyes as possible. I think I need to tweak the IPD, of course. Right now I'm using 67, 68, I think. But guys, the resolution here is lower than the 50 ppd, but I think I'm having better visuals over the Ryzen there. The mountains look sharp and not that blurry or wash out. With the 50 ppd, even when you look at the sunset there, let me see, I can still see detail. With the 50 ppd, I think I got like dirty image, maybe introduced by Mura, because as you know, when you have Mura, the bright part of the screen is a complete mess. At least my eyes can't stand Mura. That's why I had to change the optical engine and use this. Right now I'm not moving with the with the platform because I forgot to open SimHub. I was so excited and I am so excited. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Pimax. This thing is wonderful. Let me let me start SimHub and check what it feels with motion. Okay, now I have motion and the butt kicker, and it feels, of course, it feels more realistic. Okay, but let's go back in time, and I'll show you the unboxing and how to install the new optical engines if you come from a different optical engine.
I'm honestly still in shock. After all the issues I had with Pimax, the Micro-OLED 8K optical engine finally arrived, and this completely changed my VR experience. Before I get into visuals and performance, I want to show you the unboxing, because this actually deserves some credit. Everything comes very well packaged and properly protected. This feels premium and well thought out for shipping high-end hardware. Inside the box you get the Micro-OLED optical engine itself with 2 lens protection films. You also get 2 prescription lens adapters, which is a really nice touch. There's a cleaning cloth, a warranty card, the usual quality control sheet, and 2 notes. One personal note from Calvin, also known as Cora, and the typical quality control note. These small details matter when you're paying for high-end VR hardware. It gives a good first impression right away. Installation, simple and stress-free. The installation process is very straightforward, but there are a few important steps. First, make sure the headset is completely powered off. Unplug the power cable from the wall. Don't skip this step. Then, remove the facial interface. It's attached with magnets and comes off very easily. Unlike some other headsets, like the Quest, where it sometimes feels like you're about to break plastic pins, here it feels safe and well designed. After that, you press the clips on the bottom of the installed optical engine and push down, and it comes out. Honestly, it reminds me of removing the capsule container from a coffee machine. Now you install the new Micro-OLED optical engine and double check that it's properly seated. Once that's done, you reinsert the facial interface. Then you plug the headset back in and turn on your computer. If you already have the Pimax Play software installed, you'll see an update notification. Wait until the firmware update window appears, click Update, and let the process finish. The headset will restart by itself. I highly recommend restarting your computer after the firmware update finishes. It's not mandatory, but it helps avoid weird bugs and detection issues. After that, go into Pimax Play and check your settings. For example, refresh rate will default back to 90 Hz, so if you want to use 72 Hz, you'll need to change that again. Recalibrate your eye tracking using the built-in calibration tool, and recheck your IPD settings. IPD is extremely personal and flexible, and honestly, it's never exactly the number you measure with traditional methods. This is trial and error. Take your time and use what actually looks and feels right to your eyes. If you've been following my channel, you know my early experience with the Pimax Crystal Super was not great. I had mura issues, visual inconsistencies, and overall the headset didn't match what was promised. After a lot of back and forth, I was genuinely losing confidence in Pimax as a brand. Let's start with the biggest improvement for me. There is no perceptible mura anymore. The image looks clean, uniform, and natural across the panel. No dirty screen effect, no weird brightness patches. just a solid, consistent image. The pancake lenses are a massive upgrade for my eyes. Compared to the aspherical lenses, these do not cause eye strain for me. I can focus much more naturally, and my eyes feel relaxed. It actually reminds me of how comfortable focusing felt on the Quest 3. This is the first time I can use the Crystal Super for long sessions without my eyes feeling tired. The colors are simply impressive. The difference compared to the 50 ppd QLED panels is very noticeable. Blacks are deeper, colors pop more, and the image feels more alive. Cockpits, night flights, and sunsets look dramatically more realistic. Now, let's talk about the downsides. First, brightness. The Micro-OLED panels are less bright than the 50 ppd version. It's not bad, but if you're used to very punchy brightness, you will notice the difference. At the extreme edges of the pancake lenses, I do notice some chromatic aberration and a bit of clarity loss. The center sweet spot is excellent, but towards the edges, you can see some degradation. It's not a deal breaker, but it's there. Weight and neck strain. Another thing to be honest about, even though this optical engine is lighter, the headset itself is still heavy. For some users, weight could be an issue. Personally, I do have neck problems, and long VR sessions can cause neck pain for me. I actively do neck exercises to counter this. That said, this is not exclusive to this headset. The same thing happens to me when I use helmets for skiing or riding motorcycles. So if you're sensitive to headset weight, this is something you should seriously consider. The binocular overlap is really good. I get a stronger sense of depth and 3D separation. The stereo effect feels more natural, and the world feels more volumetric. This adds a lot to immersion, especially in cockpits and close-range depth perception. MSFS 2024. Now let's get into the technical side for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, because this is where this optical engine really shines. One of the biggest advantages of the Micro-OLED panels is resolution. They run at 535.2 by 488 per eye, compared to 6240 by 628E on the 50 ppd QLED panels. That's a significant reduction in pixel count, and it directly translates into performance. Because of that, I can run DLSS 5 and still super sample at 150% like before, but now with roughly a 20% performance improvement and without using the only Speed OpenXR toolkit mod to crop the image. In practice, 150% super sampling on Micro-OLED looks extremely close to 200% super sampling. The visual difference is minimal, but the performance gain is very noticeable. For context, I'm running an RTX 5090 and 64 gigabytes of DDR5 at 60 sus-red MHz. Even with this hardware, the pixel reduction makes a real difference. I use DLSS with preset M. I don't use or install the NVIDIA app. Instead, I configure DLSS through NVIDIA Profile Inspector and set Ultra Quality to 77%. This gives me a very good balance between image stability and performance with less shimmer and cleaner edges. I'd noticed some improvements in smart smoothing, both at 72 Hz and 90 Hz. It really depends on the type of flying I'm doing. For VFR and low-level flying, frame consistency matters more. For IFR and airliners, where you're far from the ground, you don't need perfect frame consistency all the time. Most of the time, I fly at 72 Hz, and my eyes have no problem with it. Just like with the 50 ppd version, flickering doesn't bother me at all. Either I'm not sensitive to it, or I've simply gotten used to it over time. For me, using Autofps in this sim is basically mandatory. I simply can't get a consistently smooth experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator without it. The sim itself still doesn't manage performance well enough on its own. I agree with some other YouTubers. This optical engine might not work perfectly for everyone. Depending on eye shape, face shape, IPD, and visual sensitivity, some users may have issues. But for me, personally, this is by far the best VR experience I've ever had in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And it's not even close. For flight simulation, this setup is far ahead of both the Pimax Crystal Light and the Crystal Super with the 50 ppd panels. In clarity, comfort, depth perception, and color reproduction, it's simply in another league. I want to thank Jop and the Pimax team for actually working with me to solve my previous Mura issues. After a lot of back and forth, we finally reached a viable solution. This experience genuinely restored my confidence in Pimax as a company. If you're into high-end VR flight simulation, this Micro-OLED setup is the closest thing I've felt to next-gen VR so far.
If this video helped you, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about these new panels. As you might notice, this is my voice, but I decided to try AI and use a synthetic speech. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Have a safe flight, my friends.